All right, so far this chapter, we have learned three shapes. Okay, what are the three shapes we talked about? Well, triangles were part of it, but what were the 3D shapes? Rectangular prism? Then combine what he just said. Triangular prism, which, okay, a cube is a rectangular prism, but you were right. And then the final one that was round around the edge. Cylinder. Okay, so we are halfway through our shapes. We have three more. Our test for this chapter will be this Friday. Okay, so we have three more. Today, we are going to talk about pyramids. Tomorrow, we'll talk about a cone. And then Friday or Wednesday, we will talk about a sphere. What is a sphere? Oops. It's a circle, but it's 3D, so like a ball, right? Okay, so that's what's coming up. Now, let's talk about pyramids. When you guys think of a pyramid, I'm guessing you all think of this one. This is what the Egyptians built, right? What is the base of this, do you think? A square. Now, we are used to, with prisms and cylinders, the bases are parallel, and there are two of them. With a pyramid, there is only one base. Now, which side is it? It's the side across from the point. Okay? And this would have a square for the base. What would this one have for a base? Triangle. And therefore, there's four sides on the square. There's three sides on the triangle. Okay. Now, are these the only two? No. You could have a pentagonal pyramid, a hexagonal pyramid, right? That would just change how many sides were on the base. But these are the two we're going to focus on, and specifically right now, the square. Okay. So let's think about this square. To find the surface area of it, first we need the area of the base. Okay. So just like before, for surface area, B stands for area of the base. Now, how do you find the area of a square? Yeah, and the sides will be the same, right? Because it's a square. So just you can do length times width or side squared, right? So that'll be that. How do you find the area if it was a triangle? What's our formula for the area of a triangle? Come on, someone remembers. Area of a triangle. One half the base times the height. Yep. Pi is for circle stuff, right? So, all right. So let's talk about what's next. There are four sides. That was because the base had four sides. So what do we call the distance around the edge of the base? Perimeter. Yeah, the perimeter. Did you say circumference? That is if it's circular, right? That was what it was on a sphere or on a cylinder, and that's what it'll be tomorrow for the cone. But on this, we need perimeter. Now it's the same idea. Okay, so for this, we need 1/2 times P times L. Now, what does that L mean? We have not seen this yet, so pay close attention here. L. If you look at these, we have four triangles, right? So we know the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. But if you put it back into a pyramid, do you see how the height of one of these sides, when I put it here, it's like this. It's slanted. That is what we call slant height, okay? Now, why do we call it a slant height? The real height of this pyramid would be from the lowest point to the highest, right? Straight up through the middle, from the base to the peak, or the point, right? The slant height goes from the base, the edge of the base to the point. It's slanted, though. So do you see how it's like this, okay? Now, for the volume, it is equal to 1/3 the base times the height. Also, one other announcement I wanted to make. On Friday, I know some of you were not here. On Friday, we did the HMH growth measure, okay? About those who were here, about half of you got it done. About half of you still need to finish it up. You don't need to do it right now, but sometime this week we're trying to get that wrapped up. It can happen when we have work time at the end. It can happen during impact. It can happen at home. Remember, we want to try our best. If you are not here, basically go to the Learning Hub, click on HMH, click on assignments. We did this back in August and also again in December, and we want to do our best on it because it shows how much we have learned. I will give you points for completing it, and then if you improve, I will give you some bonus, okay, once the deadline happens. So let's all try to get that done this week. The deadline is officially next week, but I want us to get it wrapped up. Okay, come the end of the week, or next Monday. If you aren't done, you'll work on it in class, but hopefully we can get it done. All right, so let's look at this and start off. It's a square pyramid. Here the base is right there, right? So can someone help identify a few parts of this? What is the height of this pyramid? 5.5. Okay, this right here is the height. Do we know what that 6 is? Slant height. Good. Now, let's think for a second about this height and the slant height. The heights I just drew in red. The slant height I also just drew in red. What shape do they form there? Triangle, and let's be a little more specific. What type of triangle? A right triangle. Now, on this right triangle, which would be the hypotenuse? The 6, or the slant height. So what does that tell us about slant height compared to height? Slant height will always be bigger. Yep. It always is bigger than the height. So just remember that. Now, do we need that for this problem? Not really. Okay. So the base, the area of the base equals, how do we find the area of the bottom part, that blue part? We said it's a square. How do we find that area? Multiply what? Your 5 and 5. 5 times 5, what does that give me? Yep. All right. How do we find the perimeter? What? So 5 plus 5 is 10. Times 2, 20. Or the other option, if it's a square, what do we know about all the sides? They're equal or congruent? Yep, so we could have just done 5 times 4. Either way, though, you were correct. We will get 20. All right, so we have all our information. Now let's set it up. So for surface area, it's B. So that's 25 plus 1/2 times the perimeter times the slant height. And for your volume, it's 1/3 times your area, your base, times your real height. Now, when we do this, remember, PEMDAS matters. Are you going to add or multiply first? Multiply. So multiply this, get a number, and then add 25 on. So grab your calculators. Let's try it. All right. So we do this. 1/2 times 20. What's 1/2 of 20? 10. 10 times 6? 60. So 60 plus 25, what do we get? 85. Some of you might have chose to instead do 20 times 6, right? 120 times 1/2 of that, which is 60. We still get the same thing. What is my label going to be? If it's surface area? Squared. Good. Okay, then 1/3 times 25 times 5.5. What do we get? Good. 45.83. What would the label be for that? Cubed, because it's volume. All right. Any questions? All right. Look on the back. And I have a typo here. It's none of the numbers. It's in my label. What do you think is wrong with this? It's not a square pyramid. What type of pyramid is this? What? So the reason we called this one a square pyramid is because the base is a square. What shape is our base here? Triangle. So we could call it a triangular pyramid. Is that what you said? Yeah. I just didn't hear you. You gotta be confident, right? You can do it. All right, triangular pyramid. So, sorry about that typo. Now, let's examine this. Can someone tell me what these different numbers mean? So 30 is on here 3 times. What does that 30 stand for? It's the side of the base, right there, and it's all 3 the same. Okay. What is the 52? The slant height. Good. It's along the edge there, so it's the slant height. Now, what is the 26? Very good. The height of the base or the base height. It's not the height of the pyramid, right? Because it doesn't go to the top, but it's the height of the base. Now, why do we need that? Well, to find the area of the base, we need 1/2 times the base of the base, which you already told us is 30, times the height of the base, which is 26. So 1/2 times 30 times 26. What is half of 30? 15. 15 times 26? Not quite. I think you did 15 times 25. Or you got 15 times 26? What? 390. Did you do 25? Okay. Yeah. All right. That is our area of our base, right? Now, we also need to know something else about the base. We need to know the perimeter. What would the perimeter of my base be? What? That was for the area. We did 1/2 times 26 to 30. Perimeter just means length around the edge. 90. Each side is 30, right? How many sides do we have? 3. So 30 times 3. What you were saying was for the area. Okay. All right. Now we're good to go. We can set it up. So 390 is the area of the base plus 1/2 times the perimeter times our slant height, which we already said was 52. So take a moment and try that one, please. All right, so we find 2,730 meters squared. All right. 2 more. We'll probably not really get into this that much. We'll finish it after lunch. But the third one here, C. Something important to notice about this. It's a pyramid, but it's not sitting like this. What happened to the pyramid? Turned over. Now, let's see if we can figure this out. It already tells us the height is 36. What does the 54 mean? It's part of the base. I know why we're confused, but do you see how this is not the point of the pyramid, right? That's the point of the pyramid. It got tipped over. So this 54 is along here. The slant height, what is the slant height? 45, because it's tipped over, right? It's kind of a tough one. So slant height is 45. Our base is 54 squared, right? That would be the area of the base. What does that give us? Let's do that. Yep, 2,916. Good. Okay. And then your perimeter is, how many sides does our base have? And what is each side? Yep, so 54 times 4. All right. So then we do the area of the base plus 1/2 times the perimeter times the slant height. Meanwhile, our volume, 1/3 times the area of the base times the real height, which the real height is not on our picture, but it tells us is 36. Does anyone think they know the answer? It's a big number. 34,992. That's for the volume. Yep. Yep, you're fine. That's our volume. I agree with that. So that one is centimeters cubed, right? And does anyone have the surface area? 7776. Yep. All right. Does that make sense? All right. Last one. Okay. Let's start by analyzing this. So, everyone looking at the picture, what is the shape of the base? Square. And what do we know about the sides of the base? How much are they? 3. Okay. Now, what do we know about our height? What do we know about our slant height? We don't. It's x. Okay? Pay close attention. This says we need to find the slant height, or x, of the pyramid. Show it to the nearest tenth. Okay? So, to do that, let's start off by, I'll switch to blue here so we can see it. The height here, we know. We don't know the slant height. What shape is this? We already talked about it. A right triangle. Okay, so let's draw this right triangle and try to figure this out. Now, the height is easy, right? I don't know what the slant height is. Oops. I know the height, though. Now, think carefully. I think we can figure this out. What would this chunk be? 1.5. It's not going to be 3, because 3 would be if it was the whole way across, right? But that's the center point. So as Angel said, half of 3, which is 1.5. Okay, now, x, the slant height. Is that one of the legs or the hypotenuse? So that means it will be A, B, or C? C. Yep. So we have to do this. All right. What is 4 squared? 16. Now, I doubt you know what 1.5 squared is, so grab your calculator, 1.5 to the second. What do we get? Okay. Almost done. Add them together. And now take, what do we do to solve it? Take our square root. Yep. And what do we get? Yeah, 4.27. Technically, I said round to the nearest tenth, so 4.3, but you are correct. 4.27 is right. And our label, that's just a length, right? Slant height, so it's just meters. All right, last thing before we wrap it up. Over here on the right, the volume. Well, remember our volume is 1/3 times the area of the base. We never found the area of the base. What is the area of my base? 9. 3 squared, right? Or 3 times 3. So go ahead and silence that, please. 1/3 times 9 times height. What is our height? 4. So 1/3 times 9 times 4. What do we get? Did you use 4? 12. Yeah. Did you accidentally use the slant height? Or...
No, I got the height.
Oh, okay. So 12 is correct. All right. I believe, help me out, Jade. Do I have you doing 3 of each? Jade? Do I have you doing 3 of each? Jade? On Delta, you got it pulled up. Is it 3 of each? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 volume, 3 surface area, and then that's it. So we got 2 more shapes, 2 more lessons, 2 more deltas, right, for the year. So finish it out. Our last two shapes. Does anyone remember what they are? Cone and no, we already did cylinder. Sphere. Yep, cone and sphere. So. Uh huh.